The Philadelphia 76ers of recent times have been a franchise that is more of a disappointment than a dynasty. It all started with the intentional tanking of the process, then progressed to multiple collapses in the playoffs, even when they had all the pieces to win, as they haven't been to the conference finals since 2001. But back in the early 80s, they were one of the best teams in the league. In 1983, the duo of Julius Erving and Moses Malone, along with their defensive stars Mo Cheeks and Bobby Jones, were able to win a title in the midst of the Boston-LA dominance of the NBA during the decade. But one key piece on the team rarely gets talked about for his contributions: Toney. He was a dynamic scoring threat that provided the offensive punch the Sixers needed, as he was a nightmare to guard for even the best defenders. He was also able to play the point and run the offense if you needed him to. Toney was well on his way to being one of the best shooting guards in the league before foot injuries derailed his career after only 8 seasons. Today, we'll look at the career of the Boston Strangler, someone Larry Bird and Sidney Moncrief said was on par with Michael Jordan offensively. Welcome to PZ Hoops, and let's get down to it. Andrew was born in Birmingham, Alabama, as he attended Glenn High School. In addition to basketball, he also played baseball and ran track. As a junior, Andrew averaged 31 points a game and was named an All-American. As a senior, he averaged 37 points a game, being named Alabama's Mr. Basketball. Andrew decided to stay home and attend the University of Southwestern Louisiana, now the University of Louisiana Lafayette. Andrew quickly became the focal point on the team, starting every game as a freshman. He finished the season averaging 21 points and 3 rebounds on 52% shooting, as Southwestern Louisiana would finish 21-8, ending the season on an 8-game winning streak, but they didn't make the tournament. Andrew was named the Southland Conference Rookie of the Year, and he would join his teammate Cordy Glenn on the All-Conference second team. Andrew broke out his sophomore year and established himself as one of the best players in the conference. He was asked to shoulder most of the offensive load, and he responded, averaging 24.5 points and 2.5 rebounds on 56% shooting, as Louisiana had the 12th ranked offense in the nation, finishing with a 19-8 record. Andrew led the conference in scoring and free throws, being named the Conference Player of the Year, securing a first-team All-Conference selection as well. Louisiana replaced head coach Jim Mitchell with Bobby Pascal, and the team struggled in Andrew's junior year. He was still consistent though, averaging 23 points, once again leading the conference, along with 3 rebounds and 3 assists on 48% shooting, including a college career high of 46 points against Pepperdine. Andrew would again be named to the All-Conference first team. Andrew would have his best season as a senior, as he averaged 26 points a game, good enough for 10th in the nation. He would also lead the conference in free throws made and true shooting percentage, being named Conference Player of the Year for the second time in his career. Louisiana would go 21-9, missing the tournament again. Due to a trade with the Pacers in 1976, Philadelphia had the 8th pick in the 1980 NBA draft, even though they lost in the finals the previous year. Although he went to a relatively unknown program at the time, Andrew was selected by the Sixers to complement Dr. J offensively. The Sixers were already one of the best teams in the league when Andrew joined, as Dr. J took him under his wing and mentored him. In addition to Erving, the Sixers had the toughest defense in the league, with guys like Bobby Jones, Caldwell Jones, Daryl Dawkins, and Mo Cheeks. The Sixers brought him along slowly, bringing him off the bench for the first 5 games before inserting him into the starting lineup. In the November 13th win against the Pacers, Andrew put up 32 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists on 14 of 19 shooting. He would start the rest of the season averaging 13 points, 2 rebounds, and 3.5 assists a game on 49% shooting, as he finished 7th in Rookie of the Year voting. The Sixers were still an elite team, as they had the best defense in the league again, along with the 4th ranked offense, finishing 62-20. Dr. J averaged 25 points, 8 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks to win his 4th MVP. The Sixers faced the Pacers in the first round, led by Johnny Davis and Billy Knight. They made quick work of them, winning in a 2-game sweep, as Andrew averaged 12.5 points and 6 assists for the series. The second round saw them face the Bucks, with their 2 wings Marcus Johnson and Sidney Moncrief, and a veteran presence in Bob Lanier. The series went 7 games, and Andrew didn't play that much, only about 19 minutes a game. He averaged 9 points and 3 assists in that series. They met the Larry Bird-led Celtics in the conference finals, as Andrew earned his nickname, the Boston Strangler. Although he came off the bench the entire series, he averaged 19 points, including 35 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists in Game 2. However, the Sixers would lose in Game 7 by 1 point. 1981 saw the Sixers run back the same team. Andrew went back to a 6-man role, as Philly opted for a defensive starting backcourt with Mo Cheeks and Lionel Hollins. Andrew averaged 16.5 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists on 52% from the field. He also established himself as the only real threat on the team from behind the arc. As the league was still adjusting to the 3-point line, he would take 59 threes and make 25 of them at an elite 42%, which was second in the league. He continued to cook Boston as well, as he averaged 26 points in the 4 matchups they had this season. He even had his career high of 46 points on 21 of 29 shooting in a March 7th win against the Lakers. Former teammate Earl Curriton would later say, "I always remember them saying Michael Cooper was a defensive specialist. Andrew used to ask me, what was that? They said he got a guy that's a stopper, and he went out on national TV and scored 46 on him one night. After the game, he said, who's that guy that's supposed to be the defensive specialist? Who's he?" Although the Sixers defense dropped off a bit, they were still an elite team, finishing 58-24 and securing a first-round matchup with the Hawks, who featured Dan Roundfield, John Drew, and Eddie Johnson. Philly won Game 1 by 35, but Game 2 was close as they would squeak out a 3-point win and close out the series. Andrew averaged 14.5 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists for the series. The second round brought a tough Bucks team that pushed them to 6 games. Andrew was starting for this series and showed out, scoring 26 in Game 1 and 31 in Game 2. He also shot 40% from 3, albeit on just 5 attempts the entire series. The conference finals was a rematch with the Celtics, as Andrew would become the offensive force the Sixers needed him to be. Although they lost by 40 in Game 1, Philly would win the next 3, thanks to Toney as he put up 30 in Game 2 and 39 in Game 4, as the Sixers were 1 win away from the finals. However, it would collapse in Game 5 as Andrew shot 6 for 20 from the field in a 29-point loss. Game 6 was even worse for him, as he couldn't buy a bucket, going 1 for 11 with only 3 points, as Boston had come back from a 3-1 deficit to tie the series. Despite the last 2 bad games, Andrew would come back in a huge way as he dropped 34 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals on 14 of 23 shooting, as the Sixers would win and punch their tickets to the finals. Philly would face the Lakers with their star duo of Magic and Kareem, but even on the biggest stage, Andrew would evolve his game as he became more of a playmaker this series, averaging 16 points and 10 assists the first 2 games, as both teams took a game. Game 3 was Andrew's best as he scored 36 points on 13 of 21 shooting, but the Lakers won by 21. He had an excellent Game 4 with 28 points, 5 rebounds, and 11 assists, but the Sixers lost again, going down 3-1. With their backs against the wall, Andrew put up 31 points, 2 rebounds, and 8 assists on 13 of 18 shooting in a 33-point Game 5 win. Although he put up 29 in Game 6, the Sixers would lose by 10 and lose the series, as he averaged 26 points and 8 assists in his first finals. In 1982, the Sixers put up one of the biggest heists in NBA history when they traded Caldwell Jones and a first rounder to the Rockets for their all-star center Moses Malone. Now Philly had a big man that could demand a double team down low, thus providing space for the perimeter players to shine, and that's exactly what Andrew did in his 3rd season. He was now the full-time starter at 2 guard, and he would improve with more playing time. He put up 33 points and 11 of 15 shooting in the season-opening win against the Knicks. Andrew would have 26 20-point games, 8 30-point games, and even 2 40-point games this season, as he would make his first career All-Star game. He was actually one of 4 players from Philly to make it. Moses Malone was proving to be a massive steal as he averaged 24.5 points, a league-leading 15 rebounds, and 2 blocks to win his 3rd MVP award. Bobby Jones would win the 6th Man of the Year award as well. This was pretty much a dream season for Philly as they finished with the league's best record at 67-15. They would get a first-round bye and face the Knicks in the semis, who featured Bernard King, Chuck Robinson, and Bill Cartwright. The Sixers would sweep them as Toney missed Game 2 with injury, averaging 9 points for the series. The Sixers met Milwaukee in the conference finals as Andrew got back to normal, averaging 22 points and 4 assists as Philly won in 5 to advance to the finals for a rematch with the Lakers. LA was starting to enter their Showtime era as they had the 2nd best offense in the league, but the Sixers had an answer for that, as they would shock everyone by sweeping the Lakers and winning the title. Moses Malone dominated this series, averaging 26 points and 18 rebounds, as well as Dr. J with 19 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Andrew would be second on the team at 22 points a game, along with 2 rebounds and 6 assists, as he was a champion in his 3rd season. The Sixers really didn't change anything going into the 83-84 season, as Malone and Erving continued their usual high production. This year would be the best of Andrew's career, as he averaged 20 points a game, along with 2.5 rebounds and 5 assists on 53% shooting, making his 2nd and final All-Star game. The Sixers' offense regressed a lot though, as they were last in turnovers and 4th last in assists, winning 15 less games than the year before. They still finished 52-30 and faced the New Jersey Nets in the first round, a good team featuring Buck Williams, Michael Ray Richardson, and Otis Birdsong, but a team that Philly was expecting to beat easily. But the series was tied at 2 games apiece heading into Game 5. Philly would lose by 3 as Dr. J committed 7 turnovers. The defending champions were eliminated in the first round, and Andrew averaged 20 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists for the series. Due to a trade with the Clippers back in 1978, the Sixers had the 5th pick in the legendary 1984 draft, as they would pick the undersized Charles Barkley from Auburn. Now that the team had another capable scorer, Andrew's shot attempts went down. But as his shot attempts went down, his playmaking increased as he had 6 double-doubles on the season, including his only career triple-double, putting up 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 12 assists in a March 24th win against the Nuggets. Andrew averaged 18 points and a career-high 5 assists a game as the Sixers finished 58-24, facing the Bullets in the first round, with their solid core of Gus Williams, Jeff Ruland, and Jeff Malone. Andrew put up 31 points on 13 of 22 shooting in Game 2, but went 3 for 16 in Game 3. He put up 17 points as the Sixers won in 4 games. The Sixers faced the Bucks again in the second round, sweeping them as Toney averaged 15 points and 7 assists, shooting 50% from 3 in the series. The Celtics stood in the way of another finals appearance for Philly, but Toney's magic against Boston would be ineffective this year, as they would lose in 5 games. Although he averaged 17.5 points and 4.5 assists for the series, he also averaged 5 turnovers, while Dr. J shot 32% from the series, and Moses Malone shot 40% from the series. In 1985, the Sixers signed a 34-year-old Bob McAdoo, but not much else. However, Andrew's career would never be the same as he suffered a foot injury after 6 games, missing the entire season. Despite this loss, Charles Barkley stepped up and became the leading rebounder and shot blocker on the team. The Sixers finished 54-28, getting past the Bullets in 5 games, before falling to Milwaukee in 7. By 1986, Moses Malone was no longer on the team, as Barkley had become the unquestioned leader. Andrew's foot injuries came back again this year, limiting him to 50 games. He did turn back the clock though, putting up 32 points and 8 assists on 15 of 24 shooting in a February 20th win against the Kings. He would average 10.5 points, 1.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists on the season. But the Sixers regressed again as they were second last in pace, finishing 45-37, facing the Bucks in the first round. Toney was just a rotational player in this series though, averaging 5.5 points and 5.5 assists on 38% shooting as the Sixers lost in 5 games. The 1987 season was another injury-riddled season for Andrew, as his foot injuries limited him to only 29 games this season. Julius Erving had retired in the offseason, and the Sixers missed him dearly, as they finished 36-46, missing the playoffs for the first time in 13 years. Over the past 3 seasons, Andrew had only played in 87 games due to foot injuries, as he would constantly tell the team that he was having serious ankle pain, but Sixers owner Harold Katz thought he was just making excuses for his poor play, as this led to an ugly public dispute, though their relationship did improve over time. An x-ray later revealed stress fractures in the navicular bones of both feet, forcing him to retire at only 30 years old due to constant pain. Andrew finished his career as a 2-time All-Star and NBA champ, averaging 16 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists, but the numbers don't tell the full story. Though his career was short, his reputation amongst the NBA's best of that era is very strong. According to his Sixers teammates, he was so good offensively that he would interrupt design plays to break down his man and score, even clearing Erving and Malone out of the post so he could have room to operate. Many of them also agreed that he would have been in the Hall of Fame if he had stayed healthy. Charles Barkley called him the best teammate he ever played with, while Danny Ainge said he had sleepless nights before having to guard Toney. Larry Bird called him the closest thing to Jordan offensively, while Sidney Moncrief, probably the best perimeter defender ever, called him unguardable. Andrew Toney was one of the most dynamic scorers of his time, as he helped the Sixers finally get over the hump and win a title. However, his body failed him and robbed him of a potential Hall of Fame career. Despite this, he should be recognized for his outstanding offensive skill, especially during an era with some of the best defensive guards ever. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys for all the support on this channel. You know, this is a brand new channel, but you guys are really showing support. I really appreciate all you guys. Definitely let me know what other players I should be doing a video on. But thank you. Please be safe. Stay on the grind. Have a great day. I'm out. Peace.